with 3.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. I will cede 1 minute of my time to Senator McCollum for your clarification.
Okay. What I wanted to say is when I came here as a senator, I did not come as an individual. I met with the elders in Manitoba, and you know what they said to me? You belong to Canada now. You belong to the province. You don't belong to us. So I work with people all across Canada, and it's that collective that I work under. I just wanted to make that clarification.
Senator McFedrin.
Thank you kindly. Minister, Deputy Minister, officials, thank you for making the time to be here. And Minister, thank you for making the time to meet with Senators Clément and Pate and myself some time ago. I'm going to ask my question, I hope in a way that invites fairly brief answers, but it is in 2 parts. And the question is, as a Minister of the Crown, do you acknowledge that the second generation cutoff perpetuates pre-existing sex discrimination against Indigenous women and their descendants? And if you answer that you do acknowledge that, then my question will be, if you do acknowledge that the second generation cutoff perpetuates pre-existing sex discrimination and has harmful effects on 6.2 women, could you please explain what justification you and Canada offer for forcing these women and their descendants whose rights are being violated now to wait longer after 40 years? If you do not acknowledge the question, then my question to you becomes, will you please provide to this Standing Committee of the Senate the written opinions from your own department and or from the Justice Department that explain your position? So just to repeat the question, if you do not, do you acknowledge that right now the second generation cutoff perpetuates pre-existing sex discrimination against women and their descendants? And added to that is, do you acknowledge that these Indigenous women are rights holders?
Thank you, Senator McFedrin. We had a very interesting conversation with the 3 senators. I really appreciate that you took the time to do that. The Indian Act has been unjust to all individuals under the Indian Act. And quite clearly, that harm was perpetuated to a greater degree against First Nations Indigenous women. I can say that. I can say that because that is something that I have experienced in my own daily life as an Indigenous woman. Unfortunately, that reality continues to be perpetuated in certain parts of society today. It is not just the Indian Act that is discriminatory. There are many injustices that Indigenous women face on a daily basis. I want to also respond to your question. I'll take the space to do that. I want to be very clear. When we had a discussion, you asked some questions to me that I thought were really important. Asking me what a rights holder was in that discussion, but proceeding to tell me prior that you felt you knew the solution for this really showed me that it was clear that you yourself didn't understand what a rights holder was. And then proceeding to afterwards tell me, we know the solution for second generation. We know the solution because we've been working in this space for a very long time. When you yourself have not lived the reality as an Indigenous woman, and then finalizing that conversation by telling me, it is your duty to apply the Indian Act, does not showcase to me that you understand what harm the Indian Act causes to people. And I'm going to be very clear.
You are misquoting.
I'm not, I'm sorry. Okay.
And it was a private meeting that we had, and you are misinterpreting and misrepresenting what I said.
I will be fair to you and say, if you feel that I'm not quoting you appropriately,
Definitely.
and I have written and read the briefings of that meeting, telling me that advocacy groups have guided you to determine the best solution for second gen is a fair statement. This
Excuse
is what
me,
you told
I'm going to interject here. My apologies. I appreciate the dialogue and the discussion and how we're all trying to advance this issue through our own means and mechanisms. If I can just take a bit of the chair's prerogative and just